Look, here's one of Kathy's presents for Uncle Kenneth. It's from Africa. Gee, it's going to be exciting having Uncle Kenneth here for Christmas. Can we all go to the airport with Kathy to meet him?
Of course.
Hey, where is Kathy?
In her room, wrapping more presents for her father.
Christmas Eve will be here tomorrow. Monday the banks will let me borrow.
Will you please help me out of this? Certainly, brother dear. Thank you, sister dear.
Brother dear and sister dear. Those are the first civilized words they've exchanged since last Christmas.
Would you see if there's another string of lights in the basement, Ross?
Certainly, mother dear. Wouldn't it be great if we had Christmas every day?
I'd be bankrupt by February 1st.
Here are some more presents to go into the tree, Aunt Natalie. All those?
You must have spent next year's allowance on gifts for your father.
I may have to float alone. I simply can't believe Father will be here tomorrow. It's been almost a year since I've seen him. In just 7 hours and 10 minutes, he'll be boarding a plane in Brussels.
Oh, I'll get that. You keep trimming. Well, good evening, J.R.
I've been trying to get you on the phone for the last hour.
Well, I guess Patty must have been using it. Is anything wrong?
There's a revolution going on in Kurdistan.
Yeah, I know.
What you don't know is that last night one of our foreign correspondents evaded their border guards and entered the country illegally. He's been arrested and is being held in a government prison.
One of our foreign correspondents?
Your brother Kenneth.
Kenneth? Kenneth Lane of Chronicle accused of espionage and inciting a revolution. Well, that's impossible. Kenneth is in Brussels covering that trade conference.
That's what he's supposed to be doing. He flew over to Kurdistan without telling anybody. The rebel general's an old buddy of his and smuggled him into the country.
Well, that's good.
Is it? We're in trouble with their foreign office, our State Department, and the head of a foreign government. They've had me on the carpet all morning.
I'm sorry about that, J.R., but we've got to do something about Kenneth.
Yes, I intend to. If your brother Kenneth ever gets out of jail, he's fired.
You're firing my brother?
No, you are. Merry Christmas.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bookends, different as night and day.
Where Kathy adores a minuet, the ballet russe, and crepe Suzette.
Our Patty loves to rock and roll, a hot dog makes her lose control. What a wild duet, still they're cousins, identical cousins, and you find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
But Kenneth's got to be here. You've no idea how Kathy's been looking forward to spending Christmas with her father. She's been planning for this all year.
I know. Now we're going to have to tell her he's not coming.
You're right. You do it.
I think it would be better coming from you. You're a woman.
But Kenneth's your brother.
Well, he's your brother-in-law. Oh, Kath. Your Aunt Natalie wants to talk to you.
I was just going down to the basement to find another star. This one's bent.
Kathy,
Yes, Aunt Natalie?
your Uncle Martin would like to talk to you.
It's about Father, isn't it?
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, yes, it is.
I've been thinking about it, too. He can only stay 1 week, and I've been trying to plan the most exciting things we can do before he goes back. It wouldn't be fair to just think about us. We should think of things that he would enjoy doing.
But if he couldn't get here for Christmas, we could always do all those things later, couldn't we? I mean, whenever he did get here.
Oh, he'll be here for Christmas. We've spent every Christmas of our lives together. Even when I was a little girl, after Mother died. Father would have to leave me to go to faraway places on assignments. Once I remember he was in Morocco. But no matter where he was at Christmas time, he always came back to me. On Christmas Eve, I would pull up a chair facing the front door and wait for him. And before midnight, that door would open and Father would walk in. He'll be here.
Kathy,
Yes, Aunt Natalie?
Why don't you go find that star?
Right.
You handled that beautifully.
I handled it beautifully. Why didn't you tell her?
I couldn't.
Well, neither could I. You stand some more good news?
Go on.
When Kenneth gets back, he's going to be fired.
Fired?
It's JR's orders. And guess who's going to have to do it to him? Scrooge.
Martin. Didn't you tell JR it's Christmas?
Sure. He does all his firing on Christmas.
This is the worst Christmas of my life.
Move over.
What are we gonna do?
I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to spend Christmas Eve watching Kathy sitting in a chair in front of that door waiting for someone who's not coming.
Then we're back where we were. One of us has to tell her.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Miller and the news.
No, we don't.
Oh, Martin, she has to be told.
Yeah, well, of course, but I haven't got the heart to do it, and neither do you.
Then who's going to do it?
Alan Miller.
Martin, we can't do that.
Good evening, ladies and
Excuse me, I have to check on my plum pudding.
Don't go, Kath.
Excuse me.
Did you want to talk to me?
Well, no, but I just thought maybe you'd like to watch the news with me.
The Coast Guard has ordered all small craft to take cover. Steamships to try to move out of the path of the storm, and coastal towns are being boarded up in anticipation of the violent onslaught. Moving to news overseas. World leaders in the spirit of Christmas met today to talk of peace and to plan treaties to implement those talks.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yes. I must go. My plum pudding is burning.
Yeah, but the news isn't over yet.
You tell me if I miss anything exciting.
You're going to find a white Christmas this year, for all of Europe is shivering in the grip of a severe cold wave.
Papa, do you have any thumbtacks?
Oh, yeah, somewhere there.
Out of revolution-torn Kurdistan comes word tonight that an American foreign correspondent, Kenneth Lane, is being held in prison on charges of espionage. The State Department denies the charge and has asked for his release.
Uncle Kenneth?
In Bermuda,
Uncle Kenneth.
Smash has ended in a...
Does Kathy know?
She left the room before Alan Miller got up enough nerve to tell her about it.
Gee, do you want me to tell her?
That's the coward's way out. No, I've got to do it myself. Maybe if I brought it up casually.
Sure, like, guess who's in prison? Or, the funniest thing happened to your father on his way here to spend Christmas with you.
All right, then the only way to do it is to be forthright and just get it over with. Kathy, your father was covering a revolution in Kurdistan, and they're holding him in prison over there.
I know. It says he's safe and unharmed.
That's right, Kathy. He is safe and unharmed. We have a lot to be thankful for. And the State Department will get him out in a week or two. So don't worry.
I'm not worried, Uncle Martin. Father has been in situations like this before. Then it's all right about Christmas? Of course. He'll get here. He always spends Christmas with me.
Well, there must be some way to get through. Try the embassy over there. Tell them it's a priority call. Oh, it's you.
I've heard of calling person to person, but this is ridiculous.
Well, I was trying to get through to our office in Rome. Eddie, look, you keep trying. Call me back when you have something. All right, thanks. I can't get any calls through to Kurdistan.
Maybe the country's closed for the weekend. Is it a big country?
Well, it's big enough to have a prison.
Why does your brother have to be such an adventurer?
Well, it takes after me. I mean, that's the way I'd be if I weren't married and didn't have a family.
I'm glad you've got us. It kept you out of prison.
Boy, I've been hearing some crazy rumors.
What sort of rumors?
About Uncle Kenneth. Is he in some kind of trouble or something?
Yeah, I'm afraid he is, Ross, but we're trying to get him out of it. Look, does Kathy seem very upset to you?
I don't know. She's kind of quiet. I mean, Kathy's always quiet. She's deep. You know what I mean?
We know what you mean.
Well, this may turn out to be a very rough Christmas for Kathy, so your mother and I would appreciate it if you'd go out of your way to make things easier for her.
Sure. I love Kathy. I wish she was my sister and Patty was my cousin.
No.
I know. It was just a wild dream. Okay, I'll do everything I can.
Thanks, son.
Why do bad things always have to happen to nice people? Why'd it have to be Kathy's father?
Kath, you've been sitting there for hours. Why don't you help me hang some mistletoe? There are going to be a lot of boys dropping in tomorrow. No, thank you, Patty. I want to see Father when he walks in. Kath, it's Christmas and your father's not here. It won't be Christmas for another hour. Father enjoys surprising me at the last minute. He's not even in the country. Then he's on his way. He's not on his way. Kathy, please don't do this to yourself. He's in a prison 7,000 miles away. There aren't even any planes flying out of there. I remember one Christmas, when I was 10. Father was in Tibet. I was in London with a governess. I wouldn't go to bed. I got a chair, sat in front of the door. And at 5 minutes of 12, the door opened, and he walked in. He smelled a bit like a yak, and he could only stay an hour. But he was there. He'll be here. You'll see. Kathy, don't look for miracles. Isn't that what Christmas is all about? A miracle.
No word at all?
Mom, what's going to happen to her if he doesn't show up?
I don't know.
I see. What about the fighting? They have. Well, listen, I'll be at home. Now, you call me here if you find out anything. Fine, thank you. It's our Rome office. There's no further news about Kenneth.
Dado, Kathy said one Christmas her father came to see her for just an hour.
So?
What if Uncle Kenneth came tonight for just an hour?
What do you mean?
You and Uncle Kenneth are identical twins.
Your Uncle Kenneth has a mustache.
You could put on a mustache.
And what good would that do?
If Kathy's father walked in that door before midnight, even if it were just for a few minutes, even if he explained that he had to leave again, don't you see? She'd have a miracle.
Oh, Patty, don't be ridiculous.
You said yourself you and Uncle Kenneth were always fooling people.
Well, we were a lot younger then. We could get away with murder. I remember there was a girl in our biology class, Harriet Olson. She hated me for some reason, but she was crazy about Ken. One night he had a date with her and he couldn't keep it, so I kept it for him. She didn't even know the difference. We had a wonderful time. Next day she hated me again.
This might work, Martin?
Well, this is different. I mean, I could never convince Kathy that I'm her own father.
Not even for an hour? You could tell her that you have to take the next plane back to Kurdistan, and before she knows what's hit her, you've gone.
Well, who got me out of jail and flew me over here? Friendly Martians?
You could tell her that the rebel general was a friend of yours and let you escape.
And an old Air Force buddy gave you a lift to New York.
Well, you mean like this? You see, Kathy, this old Air Force buddy of... no, wait a minute now. You see, Kathy, this
He calls her Kit Kat.
Oh, yeah. You see, Kit Kat, this old Air Force buddy of mine flew me over here after I broke out of jail. Oh, boy. Kathy is too bright a girl to believe that. Now, it's out of the question.
Oh, you couldn't do it for a long period of time, but for an hour? She wants to believe so much, she wouldn't even question it.
Well, where am I supposed to be all this time?
Down at the newspaper office.
Will you try it?
No,
Oh, Martin, it'll break her heart if he doesn't come through that door before 12 o'clock.
What do you say?
Oh, I say... Where the devil am I going to find a mustache at 11:30 on Christmas Eve?
It's 12:15.
Maybe Daddy couldn't find a mustache. That's him. He made it. I hope it works.
It has to.
Father's here.
Is this the Lane residence?
Oh, Daddy.
Merry Christmas, Kit Kat.
Hi, Uncle Kenneth. We knew you'd make it.
Hey, Patty. You've grown into a real beauty.
Hello, Kenneth. Welcome.
Hi, Nat. You look marvelous.
So do you. Well, come on in.
We were so afraid you wouldn't get away.
Yeah, well, I was a little worried about it myself, but I had a bit of the lane luck, and here I am.
I'll bet the rebel general turned out to be a pal of yours and helped you escape.
Yeah.
And an old Air Force buddy gave you a lift to New York?
No.
No?
I was an old Navy buddy, Admiral Thompson. He got me a ride here in a Navy jet.
An admiral helped you?
Yeah.
I knew nothing could keep you away.
You know what really got me out of that prison, Kit Kat? The thought of you sitting here waiting for me.
You must be starved. I've made some sandwiches.
And after you eat, we'll open our presents.
And then we'll drink a toast.
And then I'll show you Kathy's in my room.
And then I guess it'll be time for you to leave.
Who's leaving? I just got here. Natalie, you feeling all right?
Yes. Are you?
I'm fine, I think. Where's Martin?
He had to go to the office.
On Christmas Eve? That's what he gets for being a managing editor. Well, why don't we phone him there?
No! No.
Why not?
He's probably not there yet. He had to make a lot of stops on the way.
Oh. Oh, say, that's a very nice tree you have there. I could see your handiwork in that, Kit Kat.
We all worked on it.
Where's Ross?
He wanted to wait up for you, but he finally fell asleep.
Why don't we try to wake him?
I wouldn't do that. He's...
I think he's my nephew. I'd like to see him. Come on, Kat. Ross! Ross! Hey, Ross! Merry Christmas, old buddy. Come on down.
Uncle Kenneth!
How's my nephew?
Gee, you look just like my dad. Ouch! What is that? Nothing.
Oh, that reminds me. I'll go get the sandwiches.
Don't bother. I had a bite on the plane.
You should put something in your mouth. I mean, you should eat something.
Well, there's no hurry. Let me look around. It's a nice place.
I can't believe you're really here. I was so worried when I heard you were in prison. Was it very bad?
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about it.
It was a ball. Guards and I played chess all the time. They were all old friends. Some of them were old friends.
Patty, why don't you take your Uncle Kenneth up and show him Kathy's in your room?
I'll be right back, Kit Kat.
Doesn't Father look wonderful?
Well, he may seem a little changed. I mean, an experience like he's just gone through could do that.
He seems exactly the same.
He does? Oh, I'm glad.
It's a nice room, Patty.
Well, you're really doing great. I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. I'm proud of you, too.
Where'd you get that tie? Never mind. Listen, you really threw us a curve with that Admiral bit.
Admiral Thompson?
Yeah. Maybe better cool it a little. Kathy's pretty smart. The only way this is gonna work is if we play in and out Finnegan.
In and out Finnegan.
That's it. The trick is to keep moving. Now, we'll give it a couple of more minutes, and then we'll go down and open the presents. Okay?
Merry Christmas, Kit Kat. I'm here. Are you surprised to see me, Kit Kat?
I didn't.
I'm going back to bed.
Oh, say, it's great to see you, nephew.
Gee, you look just like Uncle Kenneth.
Natalie, you look great. Why, you haven't changed a bit.
Neither of you. Did you have a nice trip?
Well, I want to tell you, it was pretty exciting.
How did you get here?
Well, luckily, the rebel general was an old chum of mine, it turned out.
That was lucky.
Yeah, Danny, he smuggled me out of prison, shooting going on all around.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and then I ran into an old buddy of mine from the Air Force, and he had me flown over here.
Not a Navy admiral?
No. Air Force.
Oh, that's close enough.
How long can you stay, Uncle Kenneth?
Oh, well, I'm sorry, Ross. I have some bad news for you there.
You have to fly right back.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they're holding a plane for me at the airport right now.
But you just got here.
Yeah, I know.
You just came to keep your promise to be with me at Christmas.
That's right, Kit Kat. I'll be able to come back to you in a few weeks.
I think I'm going to cry.
Well, there's no reason to cry. I want you to be happy.
I am. That's why I'm crying. I love you.
So do I. You're quite a fella.
Oh, thanks, Natalie. Say, by the way, where's Martin?
Boy, that's a good question.
I believe he had to go to the newspaper office.
On Christmas Eve? That's what he gets for being managing editor.
Did you bring me something edible?
What?
Something edible from Turkey.
Oh, no, I haven't had a chance to do any shopping. Yeah, what with the revolution being in jail. But as soon as I get back over there, I'll send you something.
You're one of the two nicest Christmas presents I've ever had.
Oh, thanks, Kit Kat. What was the other one?
You see.
Well, listen, why don't we all have some sandwiches, and then we can open the Christmas presents, and, gee, then I'm afraid I'm going to have to rush, because they're holding a plane. Why don't you tell them General Mazim is an old buddy of yours? Well, no, I'm afraid that... that's me.
Oh, Uncle Kenneth. Welcome.
I don't feel well.
All you need is a scorecard, Ross. Hello, Martin. You look terrible in that mustache. Hello, Ken. You made it. Twice, from the looks of things. How in the world did you get here? Well, let's not go into that again. What did you think you were doing? Well, nothing.
He was playing Santa Claus. Kathy, I think we are the two greatest fathers in the whole wide world. So do I.
Do you mean to tell me that you knew Kenneth was here all the time and you stood there and let me
You were magnificent.
I think this is the happiest Christmas of my whole life. I hope it's not another one.
J.R.
Martin, if you are masquerading as Santa Claus, you have no talent for it. It calls for a long white beard and a red suit.
Well, I know.
Then why are you hiding behind that scraggly bush?
I'm not hiding.
He was pretending to be my father.
Nonsense. There isn't the faintest resemblance. Couldn't fool a goat.
Well, you'd be surprised at what we used to get away with, Johnny.
Kenneth, I heard you had come back. I didn't believe it.
Well, you know I lead a charmed life.
I couldn't believe you had nerve enough to face me. I came here to find out for myself.
Didn't you get my cable?
If you mean the one from Brussels, no.
Brussels?
Where you were assigned to cover the trade conference.
Let's discuss this later, J.R.
You mean to say you haven't told them yet?
Told me what?
JR, in 60 seconds, it's going to be Christmas.
I'm not responsible for that. Martin has something to tell you.
You're going to give Father a bonus. I don't think so.
Tell him, Martin.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken, but you're fired. Fired?
You can't fire him. It's Christmas.
So it is. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Did you hear that? That's terrible. Imagine firing someone on Christmas. He wouldn't do that. Or would he? Is J.R. Castle going to turn out to be the rat of the Western world? Tune in next week and we'll all find out. Bye. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But
Caddy's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike,
They walk alike,
at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind when cousins are two of a kind.
Oh, hi, Pete.
Hi.
Oh, how was Christmas?
Fine. I got a flamethrower, a jet plane, a platoon of artillery, and a bicycle.
A bicycle?
Yeah. How was your Christmas?
Don't ask. Boy, it's grim around here. Every time you open your mouth, somebody tries to snap your head off.
Why?
My Uncle Kenneth flew in from Europe. He's a foreign correspondent. He works for my dad's paper. Well, the publisher, old J.R. Monster Castle, fired him.
At Christmas time?
Yeah, J.R. stands for just rotten. Come on, let's get out of here.
What's all that?
My Christmas presents. I'm gonna do a little trading.
Coffee?
Yeah, thanks. Where is everybody?
Well, Ross is out trading his Christmas presents. Patty and Kathy are in their room cooking up diabolical plots against J.R. Castle, and Kenneth is asleep.
Poor Ken. It's not going to feel much like celebrating New Year's Eve this year.
Neither am I. I think it's inexcusable for J.R. to have fired your brother at Christmas.
It's his newspaper. He can do as he likes with it.
It's his newspaper, but it's my father. I'm not going to let Mr. Castle get away with it, Patty. How are you going to stop him? He's already done it. Father loves being a foreign correspondent for the Chronicle. It's been his whole life. Papa says your dad can go to work on any newspaper in New York. If he wanted to be cooped up in an office, he'd hate that. He may have to get used to it. Not if we use our imaginations. We have to think of something that will make Mr. Castle hire Father again. Kathy, you don't know J.R. like I do. He makes Scrooge look like Santa Claus. I know one way to get him. He's very susceptible to flattery. What is there to flatter him about? What difference does it make? Tell him what a great publisher he is. He'll eat that up. If he were a great publisher, he would have given Father a bonus for what he did instead of firing him. A little soft soap can wash away a lot of problems. I could never flatter Mr. Castle. I would choke on the words.
Morning, J.R.
Good morning, Martin. I thought I'd pick you up so that we could ride over to the UN conference together.
All right.
JR is here, man your battle stations.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar.
Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. Coffee?
Yes, thank you.
Cream?
No.
Sugar?
No. Very good coffee, Natalie.
If I'd known you were coming, I'd have prepared it differently.
Sarcasm does not become you, Natalie.
I'm sorry. It's just that when I see a fine newspaper man like Kenneth fired because he used some imagination and went out and got a great story,
Kenneth left his assignment without permission. Illegally entered a country in the middle of a revolution, got the paper in trouble with the State Department, and...
J.R., why don't you take him back?
Tell her, Martin.
It's a fixed policy of the Chronicle. When a man has been fired, he's never rehired.
That's ridiculous.
Natalie, you keep making coffee and I'll keep running my newspaper.
Excuse me.
She seems disturbed.
She can't stand anyone making a fuss over her coffee. Look at my notes.
Good morning, Mr. Castle. Good morning, Mr. Castle. Good morning, Mr. Castle.
Good morning, Kathy.
May I speak with you a moment?
Are you also planning to tell me how to run my newspaper?
Oh, I don't think anyone could tell you how to do that, Mr. Castle. You're the greatest publisher in the world.
Who said so?
Father. He's always saying that.
You never said it to me.
I think perhaps Father's a bit afraid of you.
Kenneth Lane afraid of me? He doesn't act that way. Why, he's the most
That's because you make him nervous. See, he thinks of you as being on a high pinnacle.
He said that?
Often. He says the only real newspaper publisher left in the business is J.R. Castle.
Is that so? I always thought he referred to me as Old Sour Lips.
Old Sour Lips? Old Printer's Ink, he always called you.
He did?
Oh, yes. He always says he could never work for anyone else. Where else would he find a warm, sympathetic genius like J.R. Castle to work for?
Young lady, I can't tell you what an impression this little talk has made on me.
Has it?
Indeed it has.
I'm ready, J.R. Oh, Kathy, would you give your father a message for me?
I'd like to hear that.
Certainly, Uncle Martin.
Just tell him I'll have lunch with him at 1 o'clock.
If she gives her father that message, you're going to be dining alone. And you can give your uncle a message for me, young lady. You tell him Old Sour Lips says he's still fired.
Boy, what a wuzza.
What's a wuzza?
J.R. Castle. You should have seen the deep freeze he just gave me.
You should see the deep freeze he just gave me. And besides, there's nothing we can do about it.
About what?
About that wuzza.
Yes, there is. When someone attacks my cousin Kathy, they're attacking me. Old Sour Lips isn't dealing with kids, you know.
And your father's going to do everything he can to see that Uncle Kenneth gets his job back.
I have a feeling that isn't enough, Mamo. It's going to take something diabolical.
Such as what?
I could get all my friends to cancel their subscriptions. That's 3 subscriptions.
Don't wreck the newspaper. Your father's still the editor. Why don't you stop worrying about it, Patty?
No. There must be a way to get to him. We have to find J.R.'s Achilles heel, that's all.
And then?
Hey, look at this. Rebel troops seize Kurdistan. General Mazim overthrows dictator. I always knew old Muzzy could do it. He's a good man. I spent a lot of time with him at his headquarters when he was hiding out in the mountains. I really got to know him.
Perhaps if you told that to Mr. Castle.
What, Old Sour Lips? No, I don't need him. I can always get a job.
A desk job?
Oh, what's the matter with that?
You always said that a good newspaper man went out where the news was made, and that the hacks stayed in the offices and put captions on history.
Did I say that? I was lying. Now, that's all behind me now, Kit Kat. It'll be interesting working at a desk.
Will it?
Of course. It means that you and I can be together.
That part of it would be wonderful. But if you were a foreign correspondent again, we'd be together anyway after I finished school.
Now, I want you to stop worrying about it, honey. I mean, I'm going to enjoy settling down. We'll move into an apartment of our own. Maybe we can find a place down in the village. Now, have regular hours. 9 to 5. Get 2-week vacation every year. We'll go back to the scenes of our crimes. Paris, Switzerland, Nairobi, Istanbul.
In 2 weeks?
It'll work out fine. You'll see.
I'll come back for your tray. He'd be miserable at a desk job, Patty. He could go to work as a foreign correspondent on another newspaper. He loves the Chronicle. I think it hurt him very deeply when Mr. Castle fired him. He's very proud. Working for another newspaper isn't going to ease that hurt. Perhaps if I talk to Mr. Castle. You already did. What? I already did. Forget it. Old Castle's got a moat around him. You couldn't shake him loose with a... Yes, you could. Kathy, I know what to do. We fix one little detail, and J.R. has to hire your father back. What's the one little detail? Your father has to write a bestseller. What? It's J.R.'s Achilles heel. He's always bragging about my men who have stormed the citadel of the literary world and written best-selling books. The influence of working under a good newspaper publisher can't be emphasized enough. But Father's never written a book. So what? He's the best foreign correspondent in the business, right? Right. He's had all kinds of fantastic adventures, right? Right. Last night he kept us fascinated for hours just telling us of a few of his experiences. All he has to do is put it down on paper. He'll be so famous, J.R. will come crawling to him to get him back. He could write about the time he had breakfast in the kitchen with the Prime Minister. Or about the crap game with the Shah where 20 wives changed hands. Or the time you escaped from the tribe of nomads in Tibet. It could be a great book, Father.
Yeah, but I've never written a book, Kit Kat. I'm afraid
I know you could do it, Uncle Kenneth.
Listen, there's a big difference between being a reporter and sitting down and writing your memoirs.
Will you try?
Well, I suppose I could try.
We've done it again. You can work upstairs. We'll move in a desk for you and some writing tablets and pencils and a typewriter. And we'll be very quiet. I can't believe it. We have a best-selling author in the family. Beautiful. If I were a writer, my mouth would be watering. He can start right away. Boy, wait till old Sour Lips hears about this. The next step is to get the book published. It hasn't been written yet. Do you know your trouble? You worry too much about details. Let's get ready. Where are we going? To see an old buddy of mine. Who? The biggest publisher in the business, Bennett Blake. We'd like to see Mr. Bennett Blake, please.
Do you have an appointment?
We don't need an appointment. We're bringing him a bestseller.
I see. Your name, please?
Just tell him Patty Lane and Kathy Lane.
There are two young ladies here to see you, Mr. Blake. Kathy Lane and Patty Lane.
Patty Lane and Kathy Lane? It certainly is lucky you're knowing Mr. Blake. Where do you know him from? I saw him interviewed on a TV show once. You saw him in... Let's get out of here. Don't be silly. We're doing him a favor. How often does a bestseller come along?
No, they don't have an appointment, but they're bringing you a bestseller.
That's even better than an appointment, isn't it? Send them in.
This way, ladies.
Good morning, ladies.
You're Bennett Blake.
Whom are you expecting? My secretary tells me that you've brought a bestseller.
We didn't exactly bring it. It's at home being written.
Oh, it's an unwritten bestseller. Which one of you is the author?
Neither of us. It's being written by my father.
I take it this is his first book.
Yes, it is.
And you're here to get a publication contract and a big advance, right?
How did you know?
Because I have a file full of letters from people who want the same thing. I'm afraid there isn't much point in this, ladies.
But you haven't heard about Father's book yet.
Don't. You look like nice girls. Let me give you some advice. There isn't any publisher that'll give an unpublished writer a contract for a book without a complete outline and at least 2 chapters written.
But Uncle Kenneth's book is going to be a great book.
I wish Uncle Kenneth luck.
All right. We'll just have to take foreign correspondent to another publisher.
Do that. Now I'll read it when it comes out.
You'll find it on the bestseller list. Foreign correspondent by Kenneth Lane. Come on, Kathy. Bye.
Wait. What did you say?
I knew the title would get you.
Never mind the title. Are you talking about Kenneth Lane of the Chronicle?
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so?
You didn't ask us. Do you know, Father?
Everybody knows your father. I've been after Ken for years to do a book.
You have?
So he finally made up his mind. Well, I can't tell you how delighted I am. And he couldn't have sent 2 lovelier emissaries.
He didn't exactly send...
Rosalie, have a contract drawn up. Yes. Non-fiction. Title, Foreign Correspondent. Author, Kenneth Lane. Maximum advance. Yes. Delivery, 3 months.
I don't know if... Sure, that'll be plenty of time.
3 months, yes.
Just a minute. Come on in, honey.
How's it going?
Oh, fine. You know, it's always takes a little time for these things to get rolling.
I'm eager to read it. It's wonderful the way you've locked yourself in here. You've been working constantly. I'll bet you have a lot written.
Kathy, you remember I said I didn't think I could write this book?
And you were wrong, weren't you? Patty and I have a surprise for you. We got you a contract for your book with Bennett Blake.
You didn't.
Yes, we did. He was thrilled.
I have a little surprise for you. When the contract comes, you can put it right in there.
Father really tried to write that book, Patty, but it's against all his newspaper training. He said he couldn't get past the title. All right, so we don't have a great author in the family. What's our next false move? I think it's too late. He made an appointment to see about a job on another newspaper. He can't do that. He belongs on the Chronicle. I tried to stop him, but I couldn't. He's doing it for me. Boy, that's when parents are the worst, when they're doing it for you. You know something, cousin? It took a miracle to get your father over here for Christmas. It's going to take another miracle to get him back.
Martin.
Yeah, what is it, J.R.?
Where's Kenneth?
Kenneth who?
Your brother, Kenneth.
Oh, that Kenneth. Well, I think he's probably still at home. Why?
Well, he's too good a man to be sitting at home. You tell him to get his bags packed and take a plane for Kurdistan tonight.
You serious?
Do I seem to be filled with irrepressible levity? Get your brother on a plane tonight.
Kenneth doesn't work for the Chronicle any longer. You fired him.
Oh, that was merely a gesture of protest against his flaunting of authority. Why, Kenneth is the best foreign correspondent in the field. He knows I wouldn't fire him.
He does. Somehow I can't see you as a Santa Claus, J.R. Now, why don't you tell me what's going on?
Well, we just got this telegram. It seems General Mazim is willing to give an exclusive story on the inside of the revolution to
Ken.
Yes. It seems that while General Mazim was hiding out in the mountains, he and Kenneth became fast friends.
Well, well. So by disobeying your orders, Ken pulled off the story of the year.
Well, we won't go into that now.
No.
Of course, all the other papers and press services are after this story.
Of course.
But we are not going to let it get away from us. This is a top story. Top general flees army, hides in mountains, and overthrows government. This is the sort of thing that Pulitzer Prizes are made of. You tell that to Kenneth.
You tell it to him.
What?
You fired him, you rehire him. I'll see if he's upstairs.
But Martin, he's your brother. Don't you want to break the good news to him?
No.
Hello, Mr. Castle.
Hello, Patty.
No, I'm Kathy.
I'm too wise a fox to be caught twice in the same trap. I've come to see your uncle.
Isn't he at the newspaper office?
What would he be doing at the newspaper office?
He works there.
You're talking about your father. I'm talking about your
Hi
uncle.
there, Mr. Castle. Is Popo here?
I detest this sort of chicanery.
Chicanery?
She's Patty.
Yes, I know. I told you.
You deliberately pretended to be you so that I would think it was her, and it didn't work.
Hello, J.R. Martin said you wanted to see me.
Kenneth, old boy, good to see you. You've been quite a stranger. I mean to say your paid vacation has done you the world of good. He looks fit, doesn't he, Martin?
Oh, yes, fit. What paid vacation?
Tell him, Martin.
J.R. is trying to ask you to come back to the Chronicle, Ken.
Oh, Father. I knew he could do it.
Well, I appreciate that, Johnny, but I've decided to take another job.
That's ridiculous. What sort of job?
It's a job on a city desk. That way I can be with Kathy.
Kathy and I have been working our heads off to get you back to Europe.
What?
It's true. That's why we wanted you to write that book. You belong over there, Father, doing what you do best.
General Mazim's waiting to give you an exclusive on the revolution.
And there'll be a small bonus.
A big bonus.
Big bonus?
I don't know what to say, Kit Kat. I hate the idea of leaving you again.
It will only be for a little while. I'll come over and see you this summer. Next year I'll be graduated and we can be together again.
Well, it's just that, see, I had planned... Just say yes, Ken. All right. Cable the General not to talk to anyone till I get over there.
Oh, thank you, Kenneth. Good man. Natalie?
If it won't affect my husband's job, I would prefer not to speak with you.
Natalie?
I mean it. I think he's treated Kenneth shamefully.
Mom!
Kenneth should be back working for the Chronicle.
Aunt Natalie?
And you've overlooked something. He knows General Mazim. He could get a great story on the revolution.
Natalie...
No, leave her alone. I think Natalie has a point here. Natalie, why don't you and I go out in the kitchen and drink a cup of your great coffee while Kenneth packs his bag?
I put in some vitamins for you. You be sure to get plenty of rest.
I promise, Kit Kat.
And you wear the new sweater I bought you? The nights are awfully cold over there this time of year.
Right. Anything else?
Just please take care of yourself.
I will. For both of us. I'll write you as soon as I can.
Mr. Kenneth Lane?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, sir. Your plane will be ready for departure immediately.
Oh.
Flight 607, now boarding at gate 17.
That's you, Ken.
Don't worry, Uncle Kenneth. We'll take good care of her for you.
Oh, I know you will.
If you get a chance, I wish you'd take another crack at that book, Uncle Kenneth.
Oh, that's not for me, honey. Well, Happy New Year. Martin.
Will passengers on flight 607 please board now?
Happy New Year, honey.
Fly the plane well, Dad. Happy New Year. I love you.
I love you.
right through another one.
Ready, Kathy? Ready, Patty?
Let's get the new year on the road.
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square.
But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair, but they're cousins, identical cousins, and you'll find they laugh alike, they walk alike, at times they even talk alike. You can lose your mind.